Good morning, evening, and afternoon. I did that one out of order this time. To all those of you watching now or in the future, today we are back with another random tier list. Today we're going to be talking about the TV show Avatar: The Last Airbender. Very, very popular TV show, at least in my generation. Even in the younger generations, I've talked to people younger than me who have watched it. I think it's really one of the best American, it's not really an anime, I guess, but American animations, the cartoons, whatever you want to say, in recent memory. So we're going to be ranking in this TV show the bending powers. We're going to be ranking them based on practical use and their power, and also a little bit of whether or not I'd want to have that bending ability. Now, of course, I'd like to have a superpower, but we're going to kind of rank them based on which ones I think would be the coolest. So if you haven't seen this show, when we're talking about bending, we're basically talking about the ability to manipulate an element. So, for example, we have air listed here. That would be the ability to manipulate air and wind and whatnot, right? We also have things like, well, I'll read them all here. Blood, cabbage, combustion, earth, spirit, fire, lava, lightning, metal, plant, and water. Not all these are ranked. I'm actually going to switch up the order on these, though. I'm going to actually do these in the order that they were talked about in the show, starting with the first four, the main four elements. And then I will move on to some of the sub-elements, and we will end with cabbage and spirit. Yeah, I think this order, I think that's pretty good. Now, we're not necessarily going to go through the order they were introduced in, but the order that, well, that makes sense. We're going to start with the base four. So our tier list is just a basic one today, S through F tier. We're going to go ahead and start with air. I think air is a B tier bending ability. I think it's cool, the ability to make wind and travel fast and blow air at people. In the show, Aang, the Avatar, is able to ride a little air sphere around. That's pretty cool. He can also manipulate the air to give himself basically the ability to fly using a glider. I think it's B tier here. Nothing, overly exciting to me, but yeah, I mean, it's cool. Water, I think, is A tier. Water lets you do a lot of cool stuff. I feel like just the ability to manipulate water would be so useful in real life. And I feel like it's just so powerful. Water, I feel like more than air, can be used to physically do things, grab people. Water, a lot of times, is used to turn into ice. I just feel like water is more powerful than air in a lot of situations, and I also feel like it'd be more useful in real life. Same thing goes with earth, being able to shake the earth and get rocks to the ground. The only thing that keeps earth, because I feel like this is very, very powerful, the thing that keeps me from putting in an S tier is I feel like it'd cause a lot of damage. I don't think it'd be very practical. And you kind of do see that in the follow-up series to Avatar, The Legend of Korra, where basically it's more of a modern setting. They tend to use earth and water to some extent too. They don't use it in as big of bursts as to not destroy the city around them, because there is now a city around them. Next up, we have fire. I think fire is a C tier bending here. I mean, yeah, it's cool to be able to shoot fireballs from your hand, don't get me wrong, and that is very powerful, but it's not going to have very many practical uses. I mean, yeah, you could cook food, but at least in modern society, I don't think that's as necessary. So fire would be C tier for me. Next, we're going to go into some of the sub-bending ones. These are all styles of bending that basically were developed by one or two or a select group of people in this show. So not everybody can use these. They usually have to be learned in a specific way. Taking a look here at blood bending. Bloodbending has to be S tier. Bloodbending is basically the ability to use the water inside somebody's body to move somebody else's body. And it's been shown to be incredibly powerful in the show, to the point where several people who have it have been basically had to be stopped, even though they were not the main villains at the time. Or I don't want to give too much away, and it's also been a while since I've seen the show, so I don't want to mess anything up. But yeah, the ability to move somebody else's body at your own will obviously is going to be an S tier there. Plant bending. Same thing as blood, but with plants. You know, if you're in a forest or something, I think this is really useful. But I feel like you're much more limited than you would be with blood. Obviously, plants are mobile. Or, I'm sorry, are stable. I think plant bending might be a C tier. I might be thinking missing something, but I think just the ability to, you know, move around plants. Oh, excuse me. Move around plants and stuff wouldn't be as useful here. Let's actually do these a little bit out of order here. Next, we have lava bending. Lava bending's super cool, and it's very powerful. But I don't know how many practical uses it actually has, other than like killing somebody, I guess. Right? Like, there's not many reasons why you would want to bend lava. I mean, it's super cool. If this was pure coolness, I guess it'd be an S tier, but this specifically says a practical use and power. So taking that practical use into account, I don't think there's a lot you could do with bending lava, other than like wrecking the ground and messing things up. Yeah. Metal bending, though. Metal bending would be, I'm sorry, lava bending would be a subset of earth bending, by the way, using obviously the melted earth in lava. And then metal bending is a subset of earth as well. Metal bending using basically the minerals inside of metal, as obviously all metal comes from the ground. Metal bending would be incredibly powerful. I think in almost every situation in today's world, whether it's a fighting situation or just a practical situation, the ability to make a metal move would be incredibly useful today. And back then, it showed to be incredibly powerful in the show. So yeah, metal bending, S tier. Next, we have lightning. Lightning is shown in the show to be basically the final form of fire bending. Incredibly powerful, able to zap out lightning. It's a direct hit with a lightning blast is shown to be basically a killing blow to a lot of people in a lot of situations. Like I said, it's kind of the ultimate fire attack, but practically, I'm just not sure how many uses there are for it. Well, I guess you could energize things. And in fact, that is used, I believe, in The Legend of Korra. They use it to power things. So I guess that is a very practical, and power is off the charts here. Yeah, so lightning, I guess, actually, we're going to put that in S tier. I started off really a lot lower with that, but yeah, the ability to generate electricity and lightning as a subset of fire would be very useful. Yeah, I think that's an S tier. Next, we have combustion bending. Combustion bending is another subset of fire, only shown by 2 people in the entire series. Or basically, you use fire bending in such a way that you cause explosions to happen. Now, this one, yeah, explosions are very powerful, but there was some people who were able to survive combustion better than they were lightning. Admittedly, they did use either water or air to brace themselves. But I don't think it's quite as powerful as lightning. And I feel like combustion bending also doesn't have as many practical uses. Being able to generate electricity itself versus being able to blow things up. I guess you could like clear a mountain or something. But I mean, most of the time this would just be used in war, right? So that's a B tier for me. F tier, we have Cabbage. This is a joke if you've never seen the show. There's a guy that goes around with cabbages, and the characters in the show constantly like land on his cart and destroy his wares. And every time they do, he screams about it, and it's like, my cabbages. So this is kind of a meme in the Avatar community, so I guess that one will go in F tier. And then next here we have spirit bending. Spirit bending is basically the ability to bend the energy and life force within one's body. And I'm putting this lower, and I'll explain why. Spirit bending, I feel like it's so open-ended on what you'd be able to do, and that's explored a little bit in Legend of Korra, and I'm not going to spoil it in case some of you have not finished Legend of Korra, though it has been out for like a decade now. But in Legend of Korra, basically, spirit bending is used to a far greater degree than it was used in the original Avatar, and to some degrees that a lot of fans don't like, including me. Just the ability to manipulate somebody's life force is understandably very vague. So what you could do with that, I feel like it's, depending on how it's written in the show, it can be just very overpowered. And it just leads to poor writing in some situations. I guess in real life, you could say, yeah, it has practical use because you could use it to, like, I don't know, fix somebody's chi or chakra or whatever kind of theory of medicine you're into. But just because of how vague it is, I mean, you could do that or it could do absolutely nothing, right? So I'm putting it down here in D tier, partially because I'm salty and I just don't like how it was implemented in the show. So I'm going to put it down here in D tier. Lava and spear bending are both very cool, but when we talk about practical uses for them in real life, spear bending there might be more, but we don't know, and then lava bending there just isn't. So that's it, guys. There is our tier list. Our S tier ended up being blood, metal, and lightning bending. Those are the three coolest, the three also most practical and most powerful, I think, in my opinion. Water and earth in A tier, air and combustion in B tier, fire and plant in C, and then lava, spirit in D. There's our ranking, guys. If you agree with my rankings, leave a like on this video. If you disagree, leave a dislike on this video. And if you have any comments or anything to add, feel free to leave a comment below. If you have not subscribed and you'd like to see more videos like this, more random tier lists, or you want to let me know about a random tier list, make sure you guys subscribe and catch up. I'm releasing videos right now every day at noon is my schedule right now. We'll see how long I can keep that up for, but right now it's going well. So leave a comment if you have a comment. Otherwise, guys, this has been the guy that makes random tier lists, signing off.